Hey, it's Doug with Backcountry Pilgrim. I want to talk to you today about a new line of clothing from one of my favorite outdoor creators, Outdoor Vitals. This is the Mountain Pursuits Hybrid Fleece and the Altura Dynamic Pants. Outdoor Vitals' new Mountain Pursuit line is a system of elite grade layers engineered for high exertion movement and brutal stillness at elevation. I'd like to thank Outdoor Vitals for sending me both the Pursuit Hybrid Fleece top layer and a pair of the Altura Dynamic Pants. The Pursuit Hybrid Fleece isn't just a fleece jacket. It's designed to be both a lightweight mid or outer layer, with the goal of exceptional temperature regulation and moisture management, especially in high exertion activities in harsh, cold environments. Outdoor Vital says it is built to be worn continuously below 40 degrees Fahrenheit while in motion, keeping you dry, comfortable, and ventilated without constantly having to change your layers. Now, I know that this is a constant issue for me when I am doing cold, snowy hiking. Even when the temperature outside gets down to freezing, I am constantly sweating through my layers and having to stop and change them around, resulting in a huge loss of heat each time I have to do it. So if I can find layers that allow me to mitigate my heat and moisture without having to swap them out, that is a huge advantage. What Outdoor Vitals has done here is they have created this layer with two different fabrics, each mapped in a pattern to ensure the perfect balance of warmth, breathability, and freedom of movement. The system combines a PrimaLoft Evolve active insulation with a stretch woven nylon in high mobility areas. It utilizes a YKK half zipper, which I kind of considered a 3/4 zip, which allows for getting the layer on and off, and increased venting options. Personally, I'm not a fan of these half or 3/4 zips. If I do need to take a layer off, I want to do it quickly and efficiently, and I find having to pull something over the top of my head doesn't accomplish that very well. Further, because the Pursuit Hybrid Fleece has an admittedly very comfortable soft inner lining, it is also very clingy. So getting this layer on and off over my base layer often resulted in it pulling my base layer up as that soft material grabbed onto the material of the base layer. So that is one thing you're going to want to consider if you think you're going to be taking this layer on and off regularly. But of course, the point is to not have to do that. With the different venting options, you can often mitigate the heat buildup without having to remove the layer in the first place. Some other nice features about the cut of the hybrid fleece is that it has a drop back hem that goes farther down in the back than it does in the front, and this helps keep you covered even when you are sitting down or bending while climbing. The sleeves also have thumb loops to keep your sleeves in place when you are switching out your outer layers, and the athletic cut allows for an easy fit with an outer layer without becoming too tight. In the warmer fall season that I started off using the hybrid fleece, I often used it as my outer layer, and even though it's not completely waterproof, it does have a PFAS-free DWR-treated nylon fabric around the core where it counts, and this provides some wind and rain protection, but not so much that it sacrifices breathability. The hood on the Pursuit Hybrid Fleece fits very well without having any adjustments. I was able to look around and still see what was going on. It kept my ears warm without getting in the way. Finally, the hybrid fleece is very lightweight. A large size only weighs 10 ounces, and it can be easily stuffed in a backpack when you're not using it. At the time of this video, the Pursuit Hybrid Fleece was running about $120, but it depends on whether or not it's on sale and whether or not you are a member of the Outdoor Vitals program. So if you're a fan of Outdoor Vitals, I would strongly suggest looking into that program. All right, so let's move on to the Altura Dynamic Pants. These are very lightweight, breathable, 4-way stretch pants made out of 93% nylon and 7% spandex. They are cut to a trim but non-restrictive fit with articulated knees and a gusseted crotch. These pants fit perfectly for me. They're form-fitting enough to not snag on things or get bunched up under another layer, but they're also not so tight that they leave nothing to the imagination. The nylon spandex mix is very comfortable to wear. In my experience, they were the perfect combination of being slightly loose-fitting while still moving with me. One of my absolute favorite features in several of the pants in the Outdoor Vitals line are these low-profile zippered hip vents. These are basically like pit zips in a rain jacket, only for your pants. Starting just a couple inches below my hip bone and zipping almost all the way down to my knee, these vents let a lot of heat out and keep that important crotch area from getting overwhelmed sweat, which of course can lead to chafing. If you ever tried the Sawtooth Adventure pants, you know what I'm talking about with these zippers, but Outdoor Vitals has done a better job with these hip vents with the Altura dynamic pants. The zipper can work one-handed. That was something that was always a problem with the Sawtooths, is that even with both hands, I could often barely get the zipper up and down. With the Alturas, it's no problem at all. And in case you've never seen them, there is a mesh panel behind the zipper, so people aren't just looking right at your legs or your underwear. However, if you're wearing something bright red, like I mistakenly did the day I did this review, people are going to be able to tell in the right light. Another thing I loved about the Sawtooths that also made it into the Altura Dynamics is an internal belt system with a cam lock tensioner that keeps the belt in place without actually having to run anything extra around through the belt loops. It doesn't slip, it doesn't bunch the pants up, and you can easily wear it under a backpack hip belt without it becoming uncomfortable. This effectively changes the size of the pants, which especially in a long hike where you're maybe losing some weight can really be helpful. The pants have two roomy front mesh pockets, plus two in the rear with a secure fold-over flap, and they also include on the right leg an angled, zippered cargo pocket that has an internal mesh phone sleeve. Helpfully, the sleeve is actually floating above the bottom of the cargo pocket a bit, and this allows you to keep things all the way in the bottom without the phone sitting right on top of them. In a 30-30, the pants weigh about 12 ounces, so they are not super heavy, and like the Pursuit Hybrid Fleece, they run about $120, again, depending on sales and whether or not you're a member. Kind of like my fleece, I've actually been wearing these pants to work. They are very comfortable whether you're just sitting around or if you are really moving. Both of these pieces of gear feel lightweight on the body, they're breathable, and as someone who is a typically pretty hot hiker, I really appreciate having something that will keep me warm when I need it, but isn't going to overheat me when I don't. So if you're looking for layers that meet that description, I would definitely check out the Outdoor Vitals Mountain Pursuit line. Check out some of these other videos I've done on Outdoor Vitals. I really love them as a brand. They are innovative, they're a smaller company, and they just make some great products. If you found value in this video, would you please give it a like and subscribe to Backcountry Pilgrim if you are into hiking, camping, backpacking, and the gear that goes with it. Until next time, I'm Doug. Thanks for watching.